Hey, hey. I swear I was on time. I was on time, y'all. For some reason, the video was private. I'm like, why ain't nobody coming on here? I'm like, why ain't nobody coming on here? Good evening, good evening. Hey, Janaya. I missed y'all. I missed y'all. Hey, 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 Geraldine. How you guys are doing? How's your evening? How's your day been so far, guys? So happy to see you guys. We're gonna start in a few. I was on time. I swear, y'all, I was here at 6. I'm like, why ain't nobody coming out here? Had it on private. Yeah, I'm sleepy right now. Pretty smooth from work to homework now. Yes, listen, I got homework myself. I'm a little behind. So I need to get some discipline, which I'm going to talk about that tonight. Hey, Brittany, how you doing? Brittany, half of my seafood season is gone. That seasoning is good, girl. I was gonna post it and tag you in it. That seasoning is delicious. I love it. Yeah, half the seafood seasoning is gone. Yes, time management. Listen, God got me together about this time management thing. I'm gonna give it one more minute and we'll start. Yes, girl, it's good. I said, come on, seasoning. Come on. Hey, Brittany. Come on, seasoning. I love good worship, y'all. I love good worship. I love good worship. Oh, no problem, girl. No problem. I'm like, cause you a foodie, so I knew you knew what you was talking about with this season, and I said, Brittany, no food. So I know this season and got to be the bomb.com. So I knew it was going to be good. All right. We're going to go ahead and get on with the evening of Emotion Mondays. I am so happy to have you guys on. It's been a month since I've been on here. Oh my God, I can't believe it's been so long. But I had to have my time, my, focus and pull away with God. At first, I was going to go ahead and do the lives instead and, share with you guys what God was, downloading to me. But, I had to pull totally, away. But for good reason. I got a lot and, God has taught me some more things. We fully have not grown, so you always have to be open to growth with God. You'll never arrive at a place. You'll never just stay, if you're plateauing, you need to check, your ends with God. You should never just plateau and just stay there. So you should always look to God to always kind of take you higher, take you to a higher place in Him, not necessarily when it comes to like opportunities or anything like that. Just always look for God to take you to a greater understanding, a greater level of wisdom, because the higher that you go, the more you can really get a lot out of life. You know, you won't be so bogged down by things that happening. You will see God in everything. Blessed are the pure at heart, for they shall see God. Once he gets your heart together, you can see God in every single thing, and it becomes beautiful. You know, you can even see God in your enemies. You can see God in everything, and it will bless you, you know, seeing God's hand at work. So, you know, this is kind of a little different for me. I had something to talk about today, but God wanted me to leave it open to just chat. I didn't want to do a subject. I had a good one, y'all. A title and everything, but he didn't want me to go there because he didn't want me to ignore what was going on in the present. You know, there's such a weight, there's a heaviness in the spirit, especially regarding, you know, what's happening around the elections. Everyone is just so anxious about, you know, the candidates, and, you know, what does this mean for our nation? What does this mean, you know, when it comes to, you know, our livelihood? What does it mean? You know, I think when it comes to money, you know, and healthcare and just all around the board, what is it going to do with us? You know, so I just wanted to get on here and have just an open, candid conversation, actually. So the first thing, you know, I didn't jot down too much just so I can just kind of stay on the point of things. But the elections, how many of you guys have voted? I'm voting tomorrow morning because I know everyone was doing the early voting. Me, myself, I'm like, I did that with Obama. I was in line for about an hour. And then like the day of, you know, I would hear people would just go in and out. And my polling place is literally like right there that I can walk, you know, and go to my polling place. You know, it's a high school, so I can just go there. Yeah, a lot of people have, Jaquia, like you have, and I've just been seeing everyone's just been voting tomorrow, but I don't want to, honestly, but I am. That's understandable and that's respectable. Brittany, Geraldine, yep, voted. Okay, good. Yeah, it's like, it's weird. It's weird. It's like voting. I mean, I understand. I want to do it because it's my, you know, right to do so. But at the same time, it's like, you know, God is going to do what he's going to do. You know, because sometimes I think like that. I don't know about everybody else, but, you know, it's like God's going to do what he's going to do. And, you know, whoever is being elected, granted, we have to do our due diligence in it. But, you know, it's something weird about, you know, this election. It's something, and I solely believe it's just because it's a signifying like a shift of life as we know it. Let's see, Brittany, I'm voting because people died for me to vote, not because I care about the kindergarten to final state. Exactly. That's how I feel too, Brittany. I feel about that same way. You know, people fought, people died, people lost their lives, people walked miles. You know, like I said, my polling place is right there, literally next to my house, and I could just walk. Like, how can I just not, you know, use my right to vote? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, if anything about it that alone, let me do it because at one point in time, we couldn't, you know, as Black people, African American people, we could not. And just out of just what they call principle off of GP alone, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So, you know, I don't know. It's just like, this is like a shift of an era. Life as we know it, you know, is going to change, you guys. Like, and not necessarily because of presidents. It's just that it just signifies, like, you know that a shift is coming. Like, I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Apocalypto. It was directed by Mel Gibson. Anybody watch the movie Apocalypto? That's one of my favorite movies. It's a kind of an older movie, but you know, I don't want to spoil it if anybody wants to go and watch it. But you know, the movie starts off with, you know, just a village, and there's this guy in the village that, you know, during the movie he goes through a lot. But he, you know, it's like he gets the Mayan people, you know, they were from this big city. The Mayan people come and take him away and his family and, you know, or whatever. So you're so focused on what's going on, these events of times. You're seeing what's going on. You're so caught up in, you know, the dramatics of, okay, he's getting taken away from his homeland. You know, the Mayans, they were sacrificing because they wanted to keep up with their culture. They wanted to keep up with their culture. They were like chopping people's heads off and giving blood sacrifice to their gods to keep their way of life. So they were just like, hey, we got to keep the sacrifice going because this is how we're progressing as a tribe, you know, as a nation. So they would take these people from villages and kill them. So one of the main characters in the movie, he got away. He got away. He was running away and everything. So, you know, we're so caught up in that. But at the end, they saw these ships coming out of this ocean. And, you know, it was like Christopher Columbus or somebody was coming. So you're focused on all this drama. And then you see these ships coming out of the water. And the thing that they were sacrificing and giving this blood sacrifice to their gods for, to keep their lifestyle, they're thinking it was the end of the world. They're trying to stop the end of the world coming. But these people in these boats, that's what they were probably kind of feeling. It was the end of life. It was the end of the world as they know it, the end of their world as they know it. It wasn't end of the world. It was end of the world as they know it. So I believe that's what's going on here. A lot in America is going to change. You know, we're not going to be on top anymore. We're not going to be the ones that everybody comes to anymore. I solely believe things are just definitely going to shift. Changing of the guard is definitely going to change, you know, in this season. And what does that have to do with the people of God? Our promises and things that God has spoken over our life is not predicated on who's in office. It's not predicated on who's being elected. God said what he said. And I just wanted to say that about that. You know, there's so much anxiety regarding the elections, but God said what he said about you. It don't matter who's in the judge seat, who's in the Supreme Court, who's in the White House. It don't matter. God said what he said about you. So all of this anxiety about, well, this one, it's not going to stop your money. It's not going to stop, you know, the impact that God wants you to make in this world. It's not going to do anything. Let's get that in our spirit. You know, no matter what the outcome is, what are you going to... Exactly. At the end of the day, you know, God didn't never give you something and spoke and created you from the foundations of the earth to say, hey, this gonna roll out depending on who in office. He didn't say that. That's right, Janiyah. No weapon formed against, and I've been praying that prayer lately. No weapon formed against shall prosper. It will form, but it will not prosper. The only time that you feel like that weapon will prosper is because you let it. Because you let it. You know, you don't hold on to the promises that God has told you. You don't hold on to what he has told you, and you're predicated on who's in office. Don't even have that kind of power. You know, even what's going on, you know, with financials and everything, you have to know that we're covered. We're covered under the blood, and that, you know, God, it's just that, and this is so like God, that God creates these situations for us, like our faith. Like, he does the impossible. So sometimes when the odds seem like they stack up, and God promised me something, I'm like, I know a miracle gonna come up. I know he gonna show up in a way that, you know, I know that he's God. Like, and not necessarily that he does it, but it makes me feel so much closer to him. Like, it's amazing. Like, it strengthens the relationship, you know, when he comes through no matter what. So, you know, I just want you guys to just, you know, I come against that anxiety around this time, around elections, around what's going on. I come against that anxiety, you know. Just keep your focus on God. You know, do go ahead and vote, but keep your focus on God. You know, the government rests on his shoulders. That's it. The government rests on his shoulders. So whatever is happening, you know, we got to believe that it's happening because he's allowing it. And we have to be strategic in our prayers, especially around these elections. That's another thing that I wanted to touch on. We have to be strategic in our prayers around what's going on. Like, I do feel like a heaviness, and then there's, you know, it's just so much going on, even racial wars, even things that are going on, you know, like, I just feel like it's so much tension in the air. We have to pray against that, because then it's just like all this violence and fighting and all this stuff going on. We got to pray against that, you know. So in the prayer time, pray about what's surrounding the elections, you know. Pray about, you know, that we don't have, again, like you said, Janiyah, no weapon formed against. That's what I was praying about. That's the prayer that I prayed. I'm like, I know a weapon is formed, but God, don't let it prosper. You know, because at the end of the day, even though my promises are sure, I care about my neighbor. You know, I care about people. So I don't want, you know, I don't get no pleasure of seeing someone suffer. You know, so it's good to just always pray. Yes, because emotions are high. So as believers, have to calm and peace. As you said, strategic. Yes, be strategic. Be strategic in your prayers, because there's people that are, you know, don't know what to pray and don't know what to do. And, you know, so we have to pray. You know, we have to intercede and pray, and just, you know, like I said, be strategic. There's so much that's going to happen, you know, just even after the elections. Like, money is about to get funny. Like, seriously, you know, it's just so much going on. And then with this, still the COVID and everything is out, and pandemic and all of these, what do you call it? Vaccines. No, I don't believe all of that. Like, just, you know, we just have to be careful that people are just in sound mind and sound spirits, you know, with all of this. So, you know, again, that's just for the election. So I hope you guys go ahead and vote for that. Did anyone have anything to say regarding elections? Any worries? Any concerns? You know, like I said, this is a candid chat tonight. I really don't have too much scheduled. I'm just kind of letting, you know, God tell me what he want me to say, or, you know, whatever, because he just get on there and talk. You know, people just don't ignore what's going on and what people are feeling. And like I said, I just been feeling that heaviness. So I got with the election. So another thing that God was dealing with me was organization with time. And I talked to Jaquia a little bit earlier, actually. I did a video. I don't know why I didn't post it. You know, it was about, you know, taking account of your time. This is what God told me. If you don't take account for your time, someone else will take account for it. If you don't plan your day, if you don't plan around what you need to do, other people will suck it up for you. Other things will suck it up for you. So then what happens is, once people or things take up your time, then you're left with what's left. It's your time. Why are you trying to schedule what you have left? You should have first dibs on your time. Sometimes I think we let things and other things take dibs of our time first. That is so backwards. We have to take first dibs of our time. And then, you know, you have those windows open where it's, you know, for other things. Because sometimes you could turn around and say, okay, I'm going to work on my homework, you know, for instance. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to get this business plan done. And then you turn around and you don't have no time left. And you're wondering why you're so overwhelmed. You know, you're wondering why you can't catch up. And it's because you let other people take up your time, or you let other things. And so then you feel drained. And then you feel like, man, I need to go sit down and sleep somewhere. You don't have time. So you have to allocate that time for you, you know. What's this? So, you know, anybody has, like, in this time, you have to order on Tuesday. Hey, Tuesday. You know, we talked about that, you know, just having boundaries. You have to have boundaries. And it's not, you know, easy, especially when you do, you know, you do care. And you have a big heart. And you want to help, but you got to know, we ain't got our heavenly bodies yet. We don't have our heavenly bodies yet. We don't have, so it's only so much that we can do, even though we want to do it all. It's only so much that we can do. Yes, we can hang on God to give us strength, but I feel like God gives us strength for certain things. And sometimes if we overstep, we take, you know, we kind of interfere and we overstep in God's position. You know, yes, gotta have boundaries. And boundaries is important in this season. And, you know, I think people feel like, man, God gave us this big old sabbatical during this pandemic. I feel like he gave us this long sabbatical, and it's still going. But it's not to be lazy or anything, but it's just to reflect and get close to him. He's been trying to get our ear for a long time in this season. You know, so I'm not God or omnipresent Lord. Yes. You know, sometimes, and it's so easy. It's so easy, you know, and you just have to listen to God. And I believe this is what this whole season was about, you know, just getting close to God and not necessarily for anything particular. It's like, you know, he wants to be with you, and you should want to be with him. And, you know, that's the thing. So we have to, you know, organize our time, and we have to organize even time for God. You know, sometimes, you know, we'll be like, okay, I'm going to get up for prayer. I'm going to pray. And then it don't happen, you know, either you don't go to bed, or, you know, it's just like, we have to be more organized in this season. And I realized that I felt so overwhelmed because I wasn't organized. I wasn't scheduling, you know, things. I had the tools, I just didn't apply it and do it. And then I allowed other things to take it up first, like get dibs of it, you know. And God has so much, and it's like God won't give you more if you can't even organize the little things that he's giving you. He's not going to give you more than that. So that was just another thing, you know, organize your time in this season. I just feel like I've been busier than I've ever been. You know, getting things set, getting things organized. I've just been so busy. I haven't really been, you know, sometimes I just don't want to do anything, but it's like, it's this pull, like, hey, I'm preparing you. And I remember many times God said, you're going to take this preparation seriously. So y'all got to take this pandemic, this time, y'all got to take this seriously, for real, y'all. For real. I've learned this year, time management requires a lot of discipline. Yes, he wants us to be disciplined. Yes, that's important. So organize and prioritize. It really helps cancel anxiety and being overwhelmed. Absolutely. Yes, it does. And it's like, you know, you're not playing catch up, and, you know, and everything. And, you know, it's hard for me to, it's just, I don't know. That's a difficult thing for me to be organized, because I think about so much that I have to do, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I end up not doing anything. So, you know, we have to just focus on what God wants us to do. And like I told Jaquia earlier, you have to focus brick by brick. Try not to look at a whole house that needs to be built. Just focus on the brick being laid out. Make sure it's even. Make sure it's okay. Do it brick by brick. And then when you turn around, you done built an empire. You done built a whole empire and didn't even know it because you were just so making sure that every brick was right. You know, you turn around, lay a brick. Turn around, lay a brick, you know. But once you turn around one day, you're going to have a whole empire. It's not easy, but it's very necessary. Yes, it's really not easy, but that's another thing that we need to focus on right now in this season. Also, you know, everything that's going on, you know, we still have to focus on healing. We still have to focus on our healing. This is, and I keep saying it, this is a time to focus on our healing because there's so much coming, because there's so much going on. You have to be in a healed place, because if you're not healed, you're going to be distracted by what's going on. And then you're going to go back to what, you know, broke you, what, you know, is distracting you. You're going to go back out of comfort because there's so much going on. Oh, I got to go to this person's house because I just can't deal. I need some, you know, I need my anxiety to be, you know, then you got these toxic friends that you go back to because there's so much going on and it just ain't worth it no more to even just to do the things of God because, you know, the church closed and I can't go to church and, you know, and all this other stuff. And it's like you have to be, you know, just healed. Be healed. Uh-oh, I'm missing some stuff. A major lesson that I had to learn with going to school. Procrastination is a major issue with me. I've gotten better with. I'm so comfortable with putting stuff off that I do it unconsciously. Look, I'm a big procrastinator. And that's, you know, I'm trying to, but, you know, I be like, I can do my best under pressure. My best work do come under pressure though, y'all. Like, I can just sit and if I know I got a deadline, it's just so just nerve-wracking. That's the only thing. It's just so nerve-wracking. That's the number one thing that is needed with everything going on. If you're not healed, you're ineffective when it comes to being used by God. Yes, so it's so important because this is just a trick of the enemy. That's why I'm like with this anxiety and this heaviness going on, being distracted with the elections, being distracted about Jason, being distracted by what's going on. You just revert to old toxic habits, you know. So wallpapers at the last minute. Yeah, and it's like you go back to these old toxic habits and then you do toxic things and then God is trying to break, you know, strongholds in this season and we're trying to mend them back up because we're not healing in this season. We just like, I can't, like, I don't know what to do. My hands is tied. You know, we don't even want to stay in the house. You know, we try not to stay in the house at all costs. But this is the time because when harvest comes and when that season comes, when things are semi coming back to normal. And like I said, when things are moving and rolling, then we're playing catch up. You know, then we're trying to just move around and get stuff together. You know, we just can't do that. So we have to be healed in this season. Still have to be healed, y'all. Be organized with your time. You know, don't let what's going on in the White House distract y'all. Don't let all this other stuff. And I mean, this stuff coming. It's some more stuff coming. We thought this COVID was something. It's other stuff coming, y'all. And we can't be. I wouldn't say no. If you're in God, don't be surprised. Because, like I said, it's no hindrance and effect to what God's told you He wanted to do with you. What does that got to do with anything? Like, that's my state of mind. I'm just like, what does that have to do with anything? Well, you know, this is going on and this is, you know, they're doing this. That has nothing to do with what God told me. That has nothing to do with, you know, I'm actually curious. I'm like, okay, God, let me see how you gonna do this. So it's not out of just, you know, we have to, yeah. So I just wanted, you know, I just felt that heaviness and anxiety during this time. I, you know, just even see statuses. I see people posting things. That, you know, oh my goodness, and what if Trump stays in the office? You know, if he does, he does. You know, with so many accounts in the Bible where, you know, the people of Israel were always held captive. They were always overpowered by, you know, a government system. There was always things going on, but God always had a covenant and a promise for them. They always came out. They, you know, that had nothing to do with the destiny that they were on, was on their lives. You know, history was still being made in a situation. You know, works were still being made. Creativity was still happening in pandemic, in war, in, you know, those situations. You know, God will still be God. Exactly. Jesus still reigns, whoever's in the office. Exactly. And we have to know that. You know, like I said, it's all through the Bible. You know, the children of Israel, they had a Pharaoh. They had, you know, the Philistines. They had, you know, all of these people, all of this overpowering force, and God took care of that. So, you know, we have to think about too, what does this situation bring out of, is supposed to bring out of this? I'm always a firm believer that, you know, you should forever be a student. Even in this, what are we learning out of all of this? As believers and saints, we can't handle or react to these difficult situations that's currently going on in our world the way the average person would. Exactly. Exactly. The king's heart is in his hand. Yes. Yes. So it's like, what are we learning out of all of this? You know, did anybody just stop and think, you know, God, okay, I know this is going on, but, you know, what am I learning out of this? Should I, you know, you're not supposed to be panicking. That's one thing he don't want you to have. You know, he don't want you to panic. He don't want you to have anxiety. So it's like, you know, well, God, well, what's going on with this? You know, I don't think we ask. I think we get so caught up in the moment. We get so caught up in what's going on that we not consulting God, you know, as a body of Christ. What is God? What is even my part in this? Sometimes I think we take parts and it ain't even our parts to take. You know, I believe a lot of us are called in prayer in this time. There's a lot of things that we just need to just come together in prayer. And I know we got a lot of things that we want to do, but I believe as a body of believers, we have to come together in this time to fight, you know, because what's going on is spiritual. And we have to get together and come together and fight. We can't be scattered and distracted, you know, by all of this. You know, we have to come to pray. And I understand that we want to do this and we want to do that. You know, I just felt it so heavy. Like I couldn't even get on with the subject that I wanted to talk about tonight, you know, because this was pressing on me. So I don't even know why it was pressing on me. So just to, you know, check on you guys and see how you guys were doing, you know, with all of this. Some people don't want to admit that whatever's going on is bothering them. So like it's causing them anxiety. It's stopping them from praying. It's stopping them from believing in the plans of God. It's stopping them from holding on to the promises of God. I don't think people want to admit that. So I just wanted this to be an open area where, you know, people could just be vulnerable. Like, yeah, I am worried about it. Yeah, I am worried about, you know, what the next couple months is going to look like. You know, and another thing, unpopular thing to say, you know, I want you guys, I'm going to say it publicly. You guys should start, you know, and it's just not out of panic, but just start just preparing to just have things where you don't have to go out of the house a lot. You know, make sure you have, you store up some, you know, some food, you know, canned goods, and you have enough water and, you know, things, I don't know, but it's just like, just not to stay out of the way for the most part. Not necessarily that, you know, you will be without, just to stay out of the way, because the world, it ain't getting no brighter right now. So, you know, there's just so much going on that we don't know and that we can't see. But, you know, just prepared to, you know, again, to, you know, we stayed in the house before. Just prepared to stay in for a little bit. I don't know when, you know, just staying for a little bit. Just everything is pretty much going to be, you know, it's going to be different, you know. Even around the holidays, things are going to be pretty organic. You know, I don't think it's going to be so much gift giving. Just enjoy your family, enjoy your, you know, your time, build your relationship with God. And also I want to tell you guys, you know, try to go on denials. You know, there's things about fasting and, like what I've been doing for some months, it's been denials, like no meat, you know, maybe just seafood, or it's a total different when you put yourself on a long denial. Not just, okay, I'm gonna eat from 6 to 6, or I'm not going to do this for a couple hours, not eat, because it's to me, it's simple just to not eat something than to just like, I can't have this thing for a while. Like meat, it was a little difficult, but you know me, I couldn't imagine. That was only the strength of God to not eat no meat. I love my ham and bacon in the morning. To not have no meat. I did not think that I can do that, but I steadily, like, I didn't eat like beef for a couple months, and then it was like, okay, well, just seafood, and then it went to to being vegetarian. You know, that was, hey, if you told me that I wasn't gonna eat no meat for almost a month, oh no. I even told my sister, I said, I can't do that. I gotta have something. I gotta have a turkey sausage or something. I gotta have some meat. But you know, and it's like when you have those denials like that, you know, I think you got, you know, that's a good idea. Just go on a long denial for like a couple months, 3 months. Like when I tell you, you will start hearing God like never before in prayer, and how he guides you, and the way that it does something with your, like your body. You know, I believe that, especially with like animals and stuff like that. You know, there's things that people do to meat, and I think that passes on. You know, hey, I might be a little crazy and off, but you know, spiritually, it's just like that, depending on how they handle the slaughtering and stuff of meat. If it's just so brutal and just so you know, I think that passes on. So you have to be careful, you know, even that. So yeah, I recommend going on denials, you know, during this time. You know, even if it's just like no coffee, no sweets, no sugars, no, you know, that's my next thing is no sugars. And that's going to be a task in itself. Y'all know sugars like can be like crack. Sugar can be like crack. That's an addiction. You know, but it'll help you. And God is really, we don't talk about this, but health is a big concern on the agenda of God. We don't talk about it. We just say, oh, get healthy, lose weight. No, for what's coming, for the harvest that's coming, we need to be in good health. Our health got to be on point, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. Our health got to be on point. Definitely on point. And because for the harvest, you know, when a harvest comes up, it's like candy bar sugar crack. When the harvest comes up, you know, we shout for the harvest. We shout that, you know, this thing is cropping up. But y'all, you know, in the farms and stuff like that, when there's a harvest, guess what? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of plowing. It's a lot of, you know, just cutting down. And you have to have stamina. You have to, you know, be able to have long days. It's a lot of labor. And you know how, you know, in the Bible, the harvest is, the labors are few. The harvest is plenty and the laborers are few. Why is that? Because, there's work. Yes, it's manual labor. It's work. And another thing I would suggest in this time, try to not think so much of yourself. Stamina, endurance, and of course, discipline. Yes, try not to think so much of yourself. Try to really get in your mind of, in an everyday thing, what can I do for somebody? What can I do for somebody? And Tuesday, we've been talking about this for a while. How can I be a good Samaritan to someone? God is calling for that. Someone that's going to go the extra mile. That's why, in the Bible where he taught about the, love your neighbor as you love yourself, like that whole situation in there. And you have to go the extra mile in this season. Bare minimum is not going to work anymore. God is looking for that because that's the harvest that's coming. The harvest that's coming is going to need that extra mile. They're going to need that extra, that we didn't have time to give or we didn't have time to do. He's causing for that extra. So even in the denials and his fasting, God should be pulling on some of you to do for other people in any kind of way. It don't necessarily have to be monetarily, but he should be pulling on you to do something for somebody. And I'm gonna give this story, because I do it for all this. I do for the glory of God, but I'm gonna give this story. So, God pressed on my heart to, go out and feed the homeless in downtown Hammond. And it was pressing on my heart so bad, like to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I said, God, because that's not me to just go out and just do something like this, because, I'm just kind of quiet, in a way, or, maybe feeling intimidated about, whatever. But I just didn't have no fear at that point. Like, it was pressing on me to do it. And he was just like, you got to go down there and do it. So I just kept saying, somebody's praying. Somebody is praying. Somebody is praying for this, because I felt like my heart was being tugged. Like, somebody is praying. Somebody is praying. So, putting the word out there. And another thing is that, sometimes, and that's like I talked about before, that's a sense of pride when you don't want to ask for help in things because you feel like you can do it all by yourself. But I was so overwhelmed and so happy that, even putting out an invitation that people wanted to help. And, that's all it takes is somebody to lead the way. Sometimes all it takes is for you to open the door, and you would be surprised who would come and help, and who that same thing has been pressed upon their heart. So, I got donations. I got things to get, sandwiches, to make these lunches, to make these care packages. And, all who just decided to ride out, with me. And, we all just went, we ministered, we prayed, to people on the corner. And then, God was tugging on me to go to the park. And, we all went to the park. And, there's this, Sister Tuesday saw someone. And she's like, I think somebody's in that pavilion. I'm like, oh, we went around again. And I'm going to tell y'all, see, I'm just giving y'all this testimony. The lady was balled up, but when I passed her and looked over, I saw her face. I saw her actual face. And I looked, and then when we got up there, she was balled up. And I'm like, I saw this lady's face, and she was undercover. So I'm just like, well, maybe she tucked her head, did her head like this and then tucked under. No. She was balled up, and, she went on and on and on, just how she was happy for that chance, happy that we came to her, and she was praying for that. So out of making all that food, out of, going out there and doing that, all of that was for one person. That was for one person. one person to have a chance. Like, y'all got to hear God in this season. Y'all got to do what God is telling you to do. And it just felt so good. And now she's, with the, help and assistance of Tuesday, and God gets all the glory. Now she has her second chance that she prayed for. And all it took was somebody to hear God. All it took was somebody to go on a denial. All it took was somebody to want to be in close proximity with God. All it took was someone to want to be in the presence of God because they love God, for that to happen. And God gets all that glory. And then on top of that, people, I'm still hearing testimonies of those that helped, how they're getting blessed because of their willingness to go help. So God is looking for willing vessels in this season. So y'all don't get distracted by all it. I understand this is the world we living in. We in the world, but we're not of the world. We can't be engulfed in this. We can't be just so angry about who's in office and this, and we got work to do. We got work to do. And you got to decide what assignment God wants you on. And you can't let the enemy distract you from the assignment. Some of you I know. Some of you on here, God had told you to do something. And you're going back and forth about it. Well, nah, he didn't tell me to do it. Well, nah, maybe next year. No, he wants you to do it now. He wants you to do it before the year is out. I don't even know who I'm talking to. He wants you to do it before the year is out. Do that assignment. It could be little. It don't have to be so big, but it's something he wants you to do. And you don't know the impact that it will have on the trajectory of somebody's life. You don't know. It could be something that you feel like is so simple and that you can wait on doing it. Don't hesitate. Y'all don't know how many confirmations I got to go out there that day specifically. No, you got to do it that day. Literally, people telling me, you got to do it. You got to do it. And then it getting closer and saying, you got to do it on that day. You got to do it on that day. And anything that you can do. You can have food in your refrigerator, leftovers. If you have any, pack it up and give it to somebody. There's things that you can do. It doesn't have to be on such a grand scale, but just something to help somebody. You see somebody on the street, don't just pass them up. Do something, because this is the ministry that God is calling us for. All that other stuff, he ain't looking for that. He's looking for those that are willing to give whatever they got. He's not looking for all this other stuff. He's not looking for you to be extra. He wants you to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's the thing about healing. You got to know how you gonna know how to love somebody else if you don't know how to love yourself. How do you know how to give to people and be willing to give to somebody if you don't know how to love yourself and how to give to yourself? To give yourself what you need. So, y'all, we got to get with it. But that's all. I just wanted to have a candid conversation with y'all. There will be many that will be in need in the times to come. This is practice for hard times to come. Yes, y'all, like I said, and I'm going to say it again. This is just the COVID. That's just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm not trying to scare nobody. You just got to know God is God in all of it. If you have to trust God in this season. You have to trust God in this season. We're outside the first one on purpose in this season. The harvest is waiting for the church. Yes. We had to get thwarted out of the four walls. Because we basically got sent out. We got sent out on assignment. We got sent out. Like, hey, guys, you getting sent out. A lot of us, some of us should be starting, Bible studies. Some of us should be starting, sharing the gospel with people. And I know we inch away and we talk about, what everybody is doing alive, and everybody is not. Everybody is not. And everybody is not sharing the word of God. How about that? So, everybody's not sharing the word of God. So, whatever means it is, I'm going to tell you one thing. Everybody's on this social media. Now, a lot of people is on this social media. So, this is where the world is at right now. So, we just have to be that light. We have to be that light everywhere we go, in the grocery stores, and, it's time out for all the other stuff. And you'll realize, I don't know, like, y'all, this season, there's a lot of things that don't matter to me right now. Like, I don't know. It's just like a lot of things that just don't matter. It's not worth arguing over. It's not worth, nitpicking over. It's just not. I just want to hear well done. I just want God to be pleased with what I'm doing. I just want to walk in the direction that he wants me to go. And that's it. Did you guys have anything else? I think I'm pretty much done. And I kept talking and going on. But, pray for the election, about what's surrounding the elections. Pray for protection of this country, innocent people. Pray that, we as Christians get strength. We be strong. We don't get distracted, that we understand what our assignment in our ministry is, that we don't hide. If this is not the time to hide in church. Hide. We have to give people that comfort, that word of God that comforts. If it's comforted us, we have to share with people, So that's all that I have. If you guys have anything, let me know. Because like I said, this was kind of like a random thought today. I wasn't going to talk about, I don't know. I was going to talk about something else. I'm not going to talk about it right now because time is over. So I thank you guys for coming on. If you want to share, go ahead and share. The shirt, Let the Healing Begin. I have my logo on the back of my shirt, the elephant with the halo. I'm thinking about having these. I don't know if you guys like them, having them for sale. You guys like them? Yeah, don't lose your lament for this country. Man. Yes, it's just it's so much going on in this country. The world, but there's so much going on in this country, but God is in control. He knows, So, I just pray peace and joy and, that we don't get caught up in the other stuff, and that's another thing with the race wars, the racial tension. Don't get caught up in that either. That's another thing that, it's so much going on. It's unfortunate, that we have to go through it. We've been going through it for years. It's not right. But again, God is in control. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Sometimes I feel like we have to take it into our own hands, and we open up the door to something else, so we have to be careful, y'all. Seek God. Seek God. All right, guys. So I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you for coming to Emotion Monday. I will see you guys next week, and then I'll have my pop-ups and stuff also. So if you have any questions, because sometimes I think people are shy, again, I have a website, thepfme.com. You can leave questions there, or you can inbox me, on this page. Share, share, share. Invite people to the group. I be forgetting to say this at the end. Invite people to the group. Anyone that you know that may need this encouragement, please invite people to the group. Share. I have a YouTube page. It's the PF Me. And then I have some other things coming up. Like I said, I've been working and planning, and so pray for me. All right, guys.